Hey, how you guys doing? So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my expertise, which is pretty much non-existent, on the different OSs that I've been using lately. Linux, Windows, and Mac. Yay. So just a little background, majority of my life I've been using Windows OS. It used to be so, available. Then here and there I would get my hands on a Mac and I'd be able to mess around with it and do my thing, whatever that is. And Linux, I haven't used Linux in a long time. So my father used to be an IT technician. He was able to work with Linux back in the day, and that's where I got most of my experience with Linux from. You seeing him do it and then just kind of mimicking what he does. But yeah, most of my experience has been with Windows. Okay, so the thing is, Windows has been getting more and more complicated recently, and I hate it. So there was a time I had a Mac and I had a PC. Mac had a lot of native tools like video editing software, music editing software, and like the QuickTime player and all of those things. There was a time, believe it or not, that Windows had the same things for free. As long as you bought a Windows PC or laptop or product, you get those things. But now you have to buy a subscription. It's not even worth it, man. The reason I stuck with Windows so long is because in my profession I did a lot of designing, planning, rendering, and advertising and whatnot, and all of that stuff was more supported in Windows format. Adobe Premiere and Adobe Photoshop, SketchUp, CAD softwares. And I needed all those softwares, and it just so happened that they were more suited for Windows. As the years went by, all of these products just became more and more expensive and reliant on subscriptions, which I just can't take anymore. And another thing is, it used to be like you were able to control what you wanted, your Windows OS to do. But now, it controls you. It used to be if it had a problem, you could troubleshoot it and it would work. Or you could just force it to do what you want, even though it will break the computer, and it will still do it. And then you just learn the hard way that it will crash or get a blue screen or whatever. And all of the things that made it somewhat equal to Mac are now gone. And another thing is like the settings that I have to fix the settings every single time. It doesn't make sense. Like whenever I plug in a microphone that I've been using for how many months or years already, and then it decides that, oh, I'm gonna change how this microphone interacts with the OS, or for a mouse, for example, I'm gonna change how it interacts, keyboard. Everything that I connect to the Windows OS, Windows decides on its own, especially every time it gets an update, what it wants to do with it. And I couldn't take it anymore. It's the most annoying thing. Now my only reason for keeping this accessory is to simply play video games. And that's where Linux and Mac just fall apart. Gaming, it's more supported in Windows, and I hate it. Even in that sense, it changes the settings of the games every update. And sometimes you can't even finish playing a game because of certain updates that just change the way the game is read and played. That's what forced me to go back to Mac. The Mac is just more friendly to use nowadays. So what brought me back to Linux as well is simply because of my disdain for Windows. But these days, Steam is apparently getting more and more support in Linux. At this time, I prefer Mac now. I'm happy with the Mac. The only problem with the Mac is gaming, really. I prefer doing everything on Mac now. It's just so much easier. The accessories are so much, compatible. I don't want to play on Windows anymore. But the support on Mac is just so limited, and it's kind of sad because I used to really be supportive of Windows, and this laptop in Windows was capable of some strong games, playing smoothly, in lower settings. Okay, the benchmark was just lower, but I was able to play and still enjoy the games. So my assumption was if I installed Linux on this laptop, I just wanted to see if it would work. And it's given me nothing but headaches. Now, this is the funny thing about using Linux though. With Windows, you've been doing the same thing for years. Years, man. Literal years. And suddenly, you wake up one day, you turn it on, and you're going to do what you want to do, and it just says no. Now, with Linux, it tells you what's wrong. It's like you're talking to somebody that's actually in the conversation. They're not like giving you a red herring or, trying to get you off track. They're just literally, this is the conversation. This is the topic. We're staying on topic and we're going to find it out together. One way or the other, we're going to find it out together, or we won't find it out together. You can't get mad at it because it's trying to help me try to figure it out, but it just keeps failing. Whereas Windows, it just keeps failing and it's just like, no, 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 no. Linux is just like, that's not working because of this, that's not working because of this, that's not working. So you just kind of have to figure out where it's going to balance. Unfortunately, it just doesn't have as much support. So these things I use on my Windows, as well as this controller I use on Windows. Now all of them I can connect onto Linux as well. And I can connect them much more easier on Mac. But for some reason on Linux, when you connect these things, you have to kind of set it up. Another beautiful thing about Linux is it doesn't give you all these unwanted notifications. So while I was been working on Linux, my attention is much more focused. It's a real it's a real relationship. And because it's so focused on the topic, when this was running on Windows, it would take forever to boot up. But now it's like taking half the time because it doesn't give you all the nonsense. It just gets you to the point. Granted, it's still slow because of how old it is, but it's much more effective. But the problem is, if you don't have a certain setting configured already in Linux, the OS, the game will not run. It all started with Final Fantasy Tactics. So my problem with Linux right now is no matter what I do, I can't figure out what's wrong. I mean, I've literally recorded 95 minutes of just loading. Have not played it yet since, trying to play it. Okay, I get the title card and it crashes, and then it'll tell me like it crashed because of the graphics card, it crashed because a certain thing wasn't installed, it crashed because of this. Whereas on the Windows, it works. I can't figure out why. It makes me so upset. The thing is, so I tested a bunch of the games that I wanted to play on this laptop before switching it to Linux. So it was running on Windows OS. And all of the games I wanted to play were running, albeit on a lower benchmark. Yeah, but they still ran. It doesn't run on Linux. Even the games that do run on Linux simply they don't run as smoothly as they did on Windows, and that just shows how much minimal support that Linux has, because this machine is obviously capable of running it. It's just it's just the OS that's holding it back. It's so sad. At this particular moment in time, where Windows is just getting progressively worse and worse and worse, Mac is getting progressively more and more expensive, and Linux is just not getting the attention it deserves. I would rank these OSs in this order: Mac, Linux, and Windows. Why is Mac first, you might say? You have to imagine that I'm not a gamer, I'm not a blogger, I'm not an influencer, I'm none of these things. I'm an average person, okay? I'm just an average guy that just happens to enjoy playing video games, making an occasional video, and happens to be working in a profession that requires me to do some, multimedia tasks. And I have a lot of hobbies as well. As an average person, I would go with the Mac. You're not going to have as much gaming options, okay? That's the downfall. The Mac App Store does provide some AAA games, and in all honesty, the experience that I've had playing games on Mac have been quite smooth. They've been quite great. The only problem is it heats up really fast, so you have to kind of limit your amount of time that you're playing. I rank Linux second because it talks to you. Linux is your friend. Linux wants to be your friend. Like, you have to do the work. So if there's a problem, it's getting there. It's trying to get there, but it's just not working. Eventually, though, it will work. Eventually. But it's just up to you if you want to keep trying to make it work. Windows, I find it hard to believe Windows is looking out for you. Not only does it give you unnecessary information constantly, you're just going about your regular day and you're doing your thing, and out of the blue, it's just going to decide for itself that I don't want this to work anymore. No, it's not going to work anymore. It's been working forever, but today, I don't want it to work for you. And it's not even just today. It's today, tomorrow, the next day, and every other succeeding day that goes on. And you're just stuck in this, trying to figure out, why did you change my settings? You search for where it was changed, how it was changed, what you need to do to change it back. And then it has the nerve to change it while you're using it. It has the nerve to be like, I see that you're trying to change it back to what it was, but no, you can't. It has to stay this way. I don't know if it's because of third-party elements or what, but it shouldn't be that way. Then there's the constant subscriptions that I think it's just because the choices they make, they try to make you feel like you don't know what you're doing or you don't know what you want, when in reality is I'm the customer. I should be able to decide this is what I want to do. Even way back when, Windows still had those kind of problems. They're just continuing this whole subscription-based model. And the crazy part is I studied all of these different softwares and used all of these different office tools, and you've done all of these different and I'm not the best at them, but I'm quite skilled in most of them. And the fact that, I can't even use them anymore because I can't afford to use them, that is sad to me. And sometimes what's even sadder is that, these different softwares, you already bought the software that you bought, that didn't require a subscription or anything. But the moment your technology goes online and your software is found by the company, the software that you paid for, sometimes they just lock it. they'll lock it and you'll never be able to use it again. Anyway, average person, Mac. Go with the Mac. If you're, if you want to try doing gaming and a bit more stuff, Linux, I would go with Linux, especially since they have a lot of open source tools. Last option I would have to say is Windows. I can't emphasize how horrible Windows has become. It's not even for a good reason. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope we can always better ourselves, especially in terms of technology and the future and what's to come ahead. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.